Pleasant good afternoon, good evening, good night, wherever you are. Welcome to the Friday afternoon's episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption, Incompetence. Welcome one and all. Friday afternoon, the beginning of a long weekend. So share the live, let them know that you're on. Whether turn it up, whether you are in the bar taking a little Friday afternoon drink, whether you're just leaving work, driving home, wherever you are. Welcome to this episode. Today, Friday, the 4th of July, 2025. Another great day that the Lord has made. Let's rejoice and be glad in it. Let's give praise and thanks to be in the land of the living. Many have not been this fortunate. It is indeed a privilege to be in the land of the living. We should not take it for granted. Give praise, give thanks, shout hallelujah. You have made it, and you are in the land of the living. We have so much again to tell you this afternoon. First of all, let me start off by congratulating the Americans. Today is America Board Day, July 4th. This is the July 4th weekend. A lot of barbecues and all of these things that go on. So I know many of you may very well be at some barbecue lime, sitting back to enjoy your rib or your burger or your chicken, whatever it is. We're gonna entertain you. We're gonna educate you at the same time. It's education and information and entertainment all at the same time. So sit back and relax. The program, school gates were opened one, and as is customary now, many students ran into the schoolyard once the gates were open. And then when we went live a while ago, when the doors are open, the students are here. You know, it's always pleasing. It's very encouraging to see the number of students who are in classroom. And of course, by the time we finish, those who didn't get to see it live, they go on YouTube and they watch the program. And again, I encourage you to gravitate to YouTube, because while Facebook can cause some issues, we don't have the problem with YouTube. We don't have that problem when it comes to YouTube. So yeah, share as you're in. Over 400 at this stage. Give me a thumbs up. Give us the thumbs up. That is your that is the way we ask you to show your appreciation. Give us the thumbs up, and we are gonna come. We gotta do the research and bring you the information. You are again. I continue to say we have so much to tell you. So much, and I'm sure you are going to be interested in what we have to say. As I indicated some time ago, this is what we call silly season, because elections are due now, September. Well, the proclamation was read yesterday. Remember, I keep telling you all they're talking about election that did not dissolve Parliament. They did not prorogue Parliament. So I said that unless and until the proclamation is read, dissolving Parliament, and announcing the election date, then the thing is there, this old me, lose me arrangement. Maybe they order us. So yesterday, the president signed the proclamation to dissolve Parliament and the RDCs, the Regional Democratic Councils, and to announce September 1 as the date for general and regional election. So silly season is going to be in full swing now for the next just under 2 months. Full swing. So come to this Speaking Out, and we are going to dissect all the lies that are going to be peddled. They're going to come with you at a lot of lies. I got some dissection to do. I am the sergeant. We are the sergeant. When they come with us and spew all of these lies, we're going to walk it through, especially when it comes to national security, policing, which we are well trained in, which we have lots of experience. We are not politicians. We say that over and over. We are not politicians. But we have been around long enough. And when it comes to the gaslighting in respect to security, in respect to policing, we are going to dissect it and bring in the information. For example, we have heard them talking about massive reduction in crime and all this type of crap. The vice president saying they don't interfere with the police. They talk about separation of power. We're going to deal with it this afternoon. So take out your notebook. Sit back, and we're going to tell you. Now, in terms of the format, normally we get the announcements. Again, I must apologize. We're not going to do any roll call today. We have a truncated arrangement because same thing, so many times I leave the studio inadvertently. Like this afternoon. I was in the studio doing some stuff, and then like my finger or touch some button out the studio. When you come back in, I think it's 40. The first 100 and the first 44 students, I think, were removed from the thing, right? The first 44 were removed. So yeah. So the first 48 were removed. And I know some people look forward to the names being called. So what I'm going to do, I am going to call the names, and then we're going to go into the announcements because we don't want to disappoint you. People like to know that they're first in the schoolyard, and we're not going to disappoint you. However, I would not be able to throw it up because the comments are no longer listed in the comment section on the program. That is something to do with the platform. Has nothing to do with us, right? As nothing. I try my best not to get out of the studio once I schedule the program, but sometimes things happen. So let me move on quickly. Now we have a lot to tell this afternoon. The first man in this afternoon, exactly 1 o'clock. Well, several persons came in. As a matter of fact, we had about 12 persons came in, exactly 1. And the first man listed, I think, is the first time, Clarence Hudson. He was the first listed. Then Peter Ulrich from West Demerara, Aubrey, and this is Aubrey Pantless from Canada. Sean from upstate, Leon Gibbo was here, Barbara Forgus, Sean, and this is next Sean Maxwell, Anthony Jarvis, Felicia, Wayne from the UK, Rosalind. They all came in at 1, and then shortly after Ashley, Dexter, and this is Dexter McAllister, Carl Johnston, Roxanne, Carlton Lewis, Carol, Sydney, Anthony Bradshaw, Peters Hall in the East Bank, Ricky Smith, Puran from Essequibo Coast, Ivla Simo from Texas, then it was Morton. Then we have another Leon Allen. Marlon came in at 102. And then we had Cecile, Esla, Ridley the Angel. He came in then. Then Henrik, Vibert, and this is Vibert Lawson, followed by Vibert White. They came one after the other at 105. Magnell, Jakey, Dorette, YouTube user, Marva, Kevin, Ezzy. Then we had Princess Earl from Lamar Springs, George Mars. Then another Vibert Smith, Wayne, Kesnil, Danny came in. Then we had Michael Brawa, Diane Mitchell, and then Mary Smith. Those people are no longer listed in the chat. The first one we have listed in the chat here is Ian, then Nicola, Boo, Marcus, Clifton, Pastor Smith is here, then Selwyn, Lynette from the UK, Brenda, Melinda, Valerie, Harold, Hazel, Danny. And Danny is reminding us here, Danny, this is indeed sad. I remember that youngster. I remember Danny is reminding us, the older police remember Ivla Murray, young officer, shot and killed at Springlands. And this story, they do all sorts of cover-up. Green was the commissioner. I remember well. Marsh shot twice in his head. And they say suicide. They were trying to tell people, like, so up to now, that no closure in that matter, up to now. Right? Then we had Paulette. Then it was Farina, Cranston, Devian, Tessa, Moses, Compton, Halloween. This is Somodat. I hope I pronounce it correctly. Philip, Colin, Benji from Maikoni, Ivor, Umi, Sharon, Anka, Elden, Annette, Doreen from Canada, Rayburn, Lorraine, and this is Lorraine Hall, Denise, Pamela, Westdam, Bernard, Rhonda, Denamstel, Westdam, Elroy, Glendis, Cloyd, Vashti, Deborah, Terrence, and this is Terrence Carto, Hope is here, Carville, Jacko is here with us, Emerson, another Lorraine is here with us, Kurt, Paulette, Angela, TK is here, Rasta, Eric, 8218, Heather is here with us. Duan, Sheena, Carl, my squad mate from Arizona, Francis Keith, Melanie. Then it was Patricia G from New Jersey, Claire, Mark, Conali, Orin from the UK, Ras Levi, and Father Masha is here, Winston, Paul, my namesake, Courtney, Naraya, I hope I call that pronounce it correctly, Alex Oliva, Gavin, and this is Gavin Beaton, Lyndon, Carlisle, Claude, Dwayne, Alistair, Michelle, Dion, another Lorraine, Damon, then Carlisle. Carlisle says he's feeling better every day. Good to know that. Good to hear that, my brother. Norbert, Christy, Jack, Dionorian, Barbara, Dennis. Then it was Charlene. Welcome. Gail from Florida. Then it was Denise, Phil, Yonette, Wayne, Wayne Green, O'Neill, Jason, Joseph rather, Michael, Ovid, XX, Mark Colo. Colo, good to see you on the program. Colo, 10933, old TSU man. Patricia, Michael, and this is Michael Mars, follow another Michael. Reggie, then it was Ulrich, my squad mate. 59555 Stevens, Sharon, Gwyneth, Delan, the last man in the schoolyard. Then Abu from Essequibo Coast was here first, followed by Matthew, Simone, then Umur, Kerryanne, Junior, Omar, and the list goes on. Matthew, the list goes on. Pinky, on and on and on. Joy Prince, long list. Friday afternoon, but the students are here to listen to what is going on. So make the announcements. You know, we start with those sad ones first. I told you about the death of Compton Bacchus. We used to call him Podagi Bacchus from the TSU. Remember, tomorrow is his funeral, and then tomorrow it will be at the funeral home, Caribe Funeral Home on 1922 Utica Avenue, Brooklyn. Funeral service from 2 p.m. That's for Podagi Bacchus, old Pleasance man, TSU man. From TSU, he went to CID headquarters, and he was a driver. Then I think when he migrated to the U.S., they say he used to drive MTA bus. And so Bacchus will be tomorrow is his funeral service. And then I also told you about the death of Golden, 9681, retired deputy superintendent, old TSU man and other places. Sakali body, very quiet, unassuming character. Well, last information, not so long ago, that his funeral will be next Friday, the 11th of July, at number 4 Village, West Coast, Borbies. Further details will be given to you a little later. But that is what we have with that. And then, you know, today would have been the funeral, I guess it might be finished by now or still going on, of retired Justice William Ramlal. He was a police complaints authority. He passed away recently, and he is scheduled to be buried this afternoon. And, you know, as I've said on the previous program, he was a friend. I'm not using the word loosely. I learned so much from him when I was a young commander, young superintendent, transferred to West Demerara. He was the magistrate there, and I could have related to him and get good, solid advice on the law and how things were to be done. Even when he became the complaints authority, I used to communicate with him from time to time. So he is being buried today. And you know, the legal fraternity taking a licks because we had Muchu Bacchus from Borbies, who passed away not so long ago. And I just learned before coming on the program of the death of the lawyer Sapir Hussain, the constitutional giant. Sapir Hussain passed away sometime this afternoon, I am being advised. And, you know, I remember Sapir very, very well. The last time I saw him was at the Supreme Court a few months ago. I went there to give evidence in a matter. And there's one of those courts that are upstairs, Justice Corbin's court. And he was going up the step and he was struggling, you know, and we exchanged little pleasantries and so on. But he didn't look too well at that stage. So, and a few days ago, I saw somewhere on social media that he was not well. You know, I remember an encounter with him, and you had to use these things to teach these young officers, you know. When I was at traffic headquarters as the traffic chief, there was an incident where a young cadet officer, I'm going to call his name, arrested Sapir in front by QC for some infraction, brought him to traffic headquarters and instructed him to sit. And he said to the officer, he don't want to sit. And the officer assaulted him. That is why he came and reported the matter to me. Sapir Hussain came to my office. I think John Hughes was the inspector there, brought him to my office to make the complaint. And I spoke to him, and I intervened in the matter. Called the officer, dealt with the officer, and at the end of the day, the man in which I dealt with the matter, Sapir was satisfied and said that, look, he's not going to take it any further. Right? And the officer apologized to him, and I too apologized to him, and that was it. I remember him very, very well. So he passed away today, and then so the legal fraternity, as we said, Muchu, Justice Ramlal, now Sapir Hussain has passed. But like we said, we all have to go one day, you know. We all have to go one day. So all them were thieving and lying and doing all sort of things to the fellow human being, your day coming. And you ain't going, them old people are saying, Kaufman get shelf, you know. Kaufman get shelf. So I don't know, some of them believe, somebody said Confederation building. Yeah, Kaufman get shelf. We all have to go one day. So as I said, I want to be around long enough to see when they get like Jacob and they walk in and shake up. That's what I want to see. Because God don't sleep. He ain't get pajama. And all these wrong things that they are doing, they will have to answer. We don't know for them and believe, you know. Not for them and believe in God and so on. So they can do what they want to do as long as they want. Well, as much as they want, but not as long as they want. And then we have two other deaths that came to attention. The old cricketers, or the people who have been following the game long, might remember Wayne Larkins. He was an opening batsman, English opening batsman. He passed away some days ago. And then I learned a few days ago of the death of Jimmy Swaggart. Y'all remember Jimmy Swaggart? This big televangelist. Man was a big time, millions and millions of followers. And then he was disgraced when he was caught with a prostitute. Y'all go and listen to Byron Lee, the bandit. Byron Lee has a song named The Bandit, referring to the he never touched. What did he say? You only watch me kangalang. You never touch me kangalang. Although I groan and moan and moan. Y'all must listen to these things, man. Listen to these things and listen to the words, and you might be able to make the connection. Well, I'm telling you, Jimmy Swaggart, that is the name of the bandit. Byron Lee and the Dragonaires. Bad tune. So Jimmy passed away at 90, I think, or something like that. So condolences to all of the relatives of the persons who have passed, those I referred to. And hope that the good Lord will give you the strength to go through this trying time. Go through the trying time. So, and you know, one of my squad mate, Martin Wills, actually posted, and I'll get the information to tell, that his granddaughter died. Granddaughter, I don't know how old she was, but Martin's granddaughter passed away recently. So condolences to the relatives and friends of all of those people. Let me move on. Again, we tell you every time you come, you hear about death. They had an accident a few days ago on the Rupert Craig Highway, and they're reporting that the driver succumbed to his injuries. Not a road death. They might call them incident, whatever they're going to call it. Someone else has died on the roads in Guyana. Between the last time you were here and now, someone else has died. And then we have a matter too. Death is roaming. Today, tragic ambush with Litchfield man slaughtered. That's what they're saying. A man from Litchfield, West Coast, Bobby, slaughtered. And quickly, before I bring Mr. Conway, before I make the other announcements, it says residents of Litchfield and surrounding villages are grappling with grief and fear after a well-known local man, affectionately called Babe, was viciously attacked and killed just moments after grabbing a meal from a neighborhood eatery. The incident unfolded in number 40 Village, West Coast, Bobby's late Wednesday evening. According to reports, Babe was walking back home when at least two men launched a brutal attack on him. Witness say the attacker struck swiftly and fled before anyone could intervene. Babe managed to stumble a short distance before collapsing. He reportedly died from his injuries before emergency service could reach him. The attack has left many residents shaken, and someone is quoted, quote, "He was a very quiet fella, always going about his business. Nobody expected something like this," end of quote. One neighbor told the reporters, barely holding back tears. Police have launched a full investigation and are urging anyone with information to come forward. Investigators are still working to determine the motive, but so far, no arrests have been made. As the community mourns, many are calling for increased security and patrols in the area, saying they no longer feel safe even in broad daylight. That is what the residents are saying. But the commissioner recently on a program, I think it was Tuesday, tell you this is Guyana is the safest place. Guyana is the safest place, crime down by how much percentage and so on. Well, the commissioner has a problem with numbers. So when he tell you about crime down by a certain percentage and so on, he know nothing about numbers, much less percentage, right? He know numbers, much less percentage. We are going to talk with it about a while. But let me tell you the other stuff before bringing Mr. Conway. Border greetings. Border greetings. Melissa Reynolds, police woman. I'm not sure where she ran, but today is our natal day. And today also is the birth anniversary of Ganesh Mahipal. Well, I can't say member parliament because parliament is dissolved. But Ganesh is observing, celebrating a birth anniversary today. Strong, principled person. So all them were as the want to say all them who decide that they're doing all sort of things. Ganesh is a principled person. According to a certain man, all them were crossing. And they're crossing over. They're crossing over. All them were cross. Them is cross. But Ganesh is principled and he is sticking to his guns. So today Ganesh is celebrating his birthday. Now we also have some anniversaries. There's some coming up. Well, belated first. A very good friend, Dr. Aaron Fraser. Dr. Aaron Fraser celebrated yesterday. Aaron, you still owe me a drink whenever we reach up. You gotta provide me with that drink. You ain't get escaping so easily. And then we have advanced birthday greetings to a very loyal follower, former police woman officer Tessa Isaac Gravesandi. Tomorrow I think is ours. Tessa Isaac Gravesandi. Another follower, another former police, Rhonda All. Rhonda is celebrating too. Soon, I think it's Friday, Saturday or Sunday. Then we have Agatha Dillon. I remember Agatha. And my good friend Reggie Weeks, 9707, is celebrated in a few days' time too. And also celebrated in a few days' time is Aubrey Compton Norton, presidential candidate for the coalition. Aubrey's going to be celebrating soon as well. Aubrey, hope to give you a fantastic birthday present in about 2 months' time. So, yes, so congratulations to all those who celebrated today, all who celebrated recently, and all who are going to be celebrating in the near future. I know that was a long intro. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. He's salivating. He wants to get involved. CC, welcome, my brother.
Thank you. Happy to be in the land of the living to do God's work. And happy birthday to all those persons that you mentioned. Really, Tessa, I want to wish Tessa happy birthday. We work well together at the Felix Austin Police College then, and I can remember, I wouldn't disclose it, what Larry Lewis told her if she wanted promotion, things that she got to do. Anyway, I want to shout out to a lot of people, over the past 2 days, a lot of people reached me, and hail out to me. Rastaman outside of Demico House. We had a long discussion in relation to the high courts. We'll continue the discussion. Then there's a bus driver who said, I don't call out his name. I don't call out his name. He said, call, but don't call his name, and he knows who. And there's also a female bus driver who works the Stabrook hospital route. And then I met some people outside of KFC by Maikoni Car Park, including a beautiful female, wonderful discussion. And then we had Inspector Smith, businessman of Lamar Park. And one I met today, George David, 11294, he said that he doesn't miss the program. And also, so I want to thank all of them for their support, and those who made a little bit of contribution. Thanks also. I was watching the cricket, Paul. You didn't mention the cricket with England, and England made, I think, 407. And in the 407, they got 6 ducks. They opened a duck farm, 6 ducks, but 2 men made century over 150. And I think they all 10 wickets went to the 2 pacemen. And then in Grenada, I was hoping that Braffett would have done like his countryman, Greenwich. Because when Greenwich played in 100 test match, he scored a century. So I was hoping that Braffett would have done so. And also I knew that people like Cowdrey had a century on his 100 tests. Meander that did the same thing. Alex Cho did the same thing. Ricky Ponting, you got 120 and 104 in the same match. Amner did the same thing. And amazing, Joe Root, 218 in his 100 test match. And today is Friday. Normally we say thank God it's Friday. And when I watched when I've been watching the test match in Grenada, I remember I went there on a course. It was a course for senior officers sponsored by the British people. Instead of us going to England, they brought England to Grenada, where they hired a hotel. I think it was No Problem Hotel, they call it. And we went there. And we learned a new word. Not thank God it's Friday. The English may say poets day. Poetis day. Is that they didn't like to work on Friday. So we used to do most of the training, all the subject area during the week, so that Friday would be free. They go on and play golf on it. So they call it the poets day. Poets day, Poetis. And P means push, O is off, E is early, T is tomorrow, I is, and S is Saturday. So say push off early, tomorrow is Saturday. Not thank God is Friday. Push off early, tomorrow is Saturday. That's what I want to leave you with today.
Yeah, but again, the students noting that it's only ladies, beautiful ladies. Y'all gotta watch, Yes, Marlon, the man, beautiful ladies, man. I fall in the cricket too. Somebody reminded me of watching the West Indies 250 for 9 at this stage. They trailed by 36 runs. But that match in England is a fantastic cricket match. I looked at it, and that is real test cricket. Real test cricket. India made what? 587, and then they are now 64 for 1. Australia replied, they made 407. And yeah, fantastic. 6 ducks. 6 ducks of the batsmen, 6 ducks. 2 men made big 100, a partnership of 300 and something there. Look, the brand of cricket that England playing there is something difficult to beat. Let me understand this thing clearly. They're playing a fearless brand of cricket. A fearless. And this test match there, this is the second test match. Today was only the third day. 2 days to go. I can see that this gonna likely to get a result still. Likely to get a result. So let's see. Well, we are seeing this on and done in 4 days. Today is the second day. Both sides are almost finished the first innings. I can see Australia coming out there and pushing a score. And the problem, West Indies is likely to get difficulty batting 2 sessions on the last day. I said it. I don't talk sentiments. I talk in cricket. I said it. Now let me say this before I move on. What do I have here? To tell you, as we said, today is public holiday in the States in respect of Independence Day. Monday in Guyana is a public holiday too. I didn't realize this until yesterday in respect of CARICOM Day, the first Monday in July, observed as CARICOM Day. I know Guyana is only one of the few countries in CARICOM that observe CARICOM Day as a public holiday. One of the few countries, Monday, first Monday in July, holiday in Guyana. Now, happy anniversary to the Guyana Police Force. As we had said before, they had the 1st of July, 1839. The force was established. And one can therefore expect tomorrow, I think they have tomorrow, the usual route march around parts of Georgetown, leaving police headquarters and going in. Tessa and CC and all, I remember in the days, route march, Slow was the man, controlling things there. I used to live for them type of occasion, parades and so on. That was me, right? Especially in the early days. So tomorrow is the route march. Now, as is traditional, when they march past the Ministry of Home Affairs in Brigham, the Minister of Home Affairs, whoever he or she is, will take the salute in front of the ministry. I recall 2 years ago, in 2023, Minister Ben came straight from the farm with his Baghdam clothes, and he took the salute. I do my research. Let me remind you, look, this was Minister Ben taking the salute on the 1st of July, 2023, in front of the ministry. This is Akin Flankier. This is Brutus, who is no longer police, flanking him. And I made a comment there on social media. It's a total disrespect. Look at the mode of dress of the Minister of Home Affairs, Robeson Ben, as he takes the salute from units of the Ghana Police Force during the 184th anniversary route march. What a disgrace. And let me tell you something, I have no apologies to that. Look at the manner in which the minister was dressed for a route march. A route march is one of the occasions where people don up, they dress up, bulb up your shoes, you get your best uniform, and this is the way the minister stand up there to take. And I said then, and I repeated, that what he should have got was a middle finger salute. He should have been given a middle finger salute. Now, I don't expel. Let me watch to see. I can follow to see what's going to happen tomorrow. Because this is not an isolated thing where the minister come to take salute and look nasty, stink, and dirty. It's not a force. Because only recently, about a month or so ago, the prison service at some medal parade. And look at the minister condition again. Look, men dressed in ceremonial uniform. This is the director of prison acting. I think this is somebody from the fire service. I'm not sure. But look how the man stand up on look, the man dressed. Man get on some polo shirt with look, let me show you all more. Look. I sit down the lucky boots. Come out to the Baghdam. Look the pants we had on. Look. That is the type of disrespect. And then these people want to tell you about how the members of public respect them and respect police. This is the minister mode of justice. And I say this because I've been involved in these things for a long time. Even if the minister was otherwise, first of all, the minister would have known long in advance. This is not something that would have sprung on him. He knows, he would have been written to about the march past and all that. So he had ample time to be properly attired. And even if he was somewhere where he had to rush to come, the minister has the prerogative of asking them to hold a while he gets dressed properly. He get a type of prerogative. But for the minister to have gone and saluting the podium just like that, if I were there, first of all, if I'd been there, there'd be a marching past, trust me. Because if I had been there, I would have been perhaps the person in charge of the parade or the person coordinating the parade. And there's no way I was allowing my ranks to walk past or to march the minister like that. If we march past, there would have been no salute. Tell you that. And people who know me know that I'm not bluffing. There would have been no salute. Because what happens, the parade comes down Camp Street, south into Camp Street, and then when you get to camp and break down, you will wait there until you're satisfied that all things are in place in this area, right? So once I hear that this is the mode, or my people will tell me, say, hey, this is the manner in which the minister is, we are moving off of that. We would not be moving off. And this is the man who they berate the police them about wearing jewelry and all this type of thing. Look at the dress. Look at the dress. A ceremonial occasion. So let me see what can happen tomorrow. Let's see what, and in any event, I expect you, Minister Ben, to dress your best tomorrow. Why? Because tomorrow is your last as Home Affairs Minister. The last parade you're going to take as Home Affairs Minister is tomorrow. So I expect you to come for your farewell parade properly attired. Your last one, right? Your last. I get a lot of last gonna happen tomorrow too. So I thought I'll show you folks that I had to show you that for the anniversary parade tomorrow. I saw on social media they were rehearsing for this, and that makes the thing even more troubling, more disgraceful. These ranks rehearse, These ranks rehearse. They come, they give their best tomorrow morning. I know they're gonna get up very early from wherever they are to assemble the TSU. I don't know if they still provide breakfast to them, but you're going to get a breakfast provided and thing. And people are enthused. A lot of children, community policing, the youth groups, people are enthused about this parade. And to see the minister there looking so damn stink and dirty, right? So let me see what's going to happen tomorrow. For all you know this people now, right? For all you know, you're going to decide, because slow, talk about it, I'm going to wear the same back damn clothes again tomorrow. Like continue to talk about minister. Seeing that tomorrow is your farewell anniversary parade, I think you can find something better to wear. I think so. Let me bring in CC. What's happening here? Let me bring in CC for him to say, CC, you saw that there. I'm sure remind you about the minister and the 2023. Your views.
I think he's going to be properly dressed for his farewell parade, And I could advise him, because the last time I saw him was at his uncle's funeral. And we shook hands, and he was properly dressed, immaculately dressed at the funeral there. So all he got to find the same funeral clothes and go to the function there, and he will be considered properly dressed.
Yeah, so just look good, man. I mean, you can't look good, because looking good not only how you dress. Looking good has to do with your face and your demeanor, your outlook. Whether you're aesthetically challenged or not, that is what looking good about. But you should dress well. You should at least try to dress well. Can't change the face. Even plastic surgeons gonna get a rough time in that. But for your farewell, you want it good on your posterity. So make sure you look for the funeral clothes, as Mr. Conway said. Now, what else I have to talk about? As I said earlier, I think it was yesterday, the president signed the proclamation dissolving Parliament and announcing officially that general and regional elections will be held in Guyana on the 1st of September. So silly season will be in full swing. Silly season is in full swing. I saw that the APNU will launch the election campaign on Sunday the 6th at the Square of the Revolution. They launched the campaign on the 6th at the Square of the Revolution. PPP launched a campaign long time. Despite what they're saying, they launched a campaign, they employ people from the US, lobbyists. I see they employ someone from Trinidad. That's how the campaign long. And in many cases, I suspect, especially the one, the lobbyists, is we taxpayers' money they're using. Last week, they had an event at Anna Regina. They used the GDF plane to fly people in to Anna Regina. And when social media exposed it, I understand 2 o'clock in the morning, they put the journalists and the man from Trinidad who they brought and so on, put a boat for come down. That is what happened. They flew them to Anna Regina for some function they had there. And then when it was exposed, the man, Ian Allen from Trinidad, claimed that he was just posing by the plane. He did not go into the plane. And when they have evidence to suggest otherwise. And because it was exposed on social media, they then decide, well, they can't fly them out back on the plane. Right? They take speedboat. Luckily, the speedboat didn't encounter any difficulty and brought them back by speedboat. So that's what they do. That is what they're going to do. They're going to use taxpayers' money, despite what Jagdeo and Ifalani and them say. They're going to use taxpayers' money to campaign. But at the end of the day, they said the noise in the market is not the sales. Let me understand. The noise in the market is not the sale. Look, let me show you all this photograph. These people, okay, look, I'm going to show you all something first. Look at this photograph. Look. The person you see there is the PPP Minister of Agriculture, Zulfikar Mustafa. He's posing there with 5 black children. They are decked out in PPP t-shirt and cap. Now you tell me, this one look at least a little bit thing. What age you think these children bearing? None of them even reach teenage age. None of them are voter. But they don't care. They're using black people children as props. And this thing is so damn offensive. So offensive. And I ain't nobody taking it up. Yeah, you want to campaign, you have a right to campaign. But you're using black people children. I'm sure it's some poor people pick up there, or they've been to some activity, put them with t-shirt, and then they pose in the picture. And it look good to you. It look good to you. And I want to tell me that is okay. People little picnic, yes, little black picnic that. You put Indian children. It's not Indian children he put there. Right? 5 black children. They come, he pose in the photograph and jump on social media. And you want to tell me that is okay? And then they're going to talk about election observers who are going to come. These are the things they should observe and condemn. Not wait until election day or a couple of days before election day. These are the things that are so galling. How can you justify that? Whether you are, let me understand this thing clearly. Whether you are pro-PPP, you're anti-PPP, whatever you are, this cannot be justified to be using children as props. For the PPP to be using black people children as election props. And they don't see nothing wrong with that. They don't see nothing wrong with that. Now look, and let me show you the next picture. Exactly, no permission, anything are needed, right? No permission are needed. They get the people there. And I don't know where it took place. I don't know who the parents of the children are, but I can bet you that there are some place where the people, they are poor people, the parents are poor people, underprivileged, underserved. Bring them and put them there as prop, and he's smiling. He's smiling. Now look at this next picture. Look at this next one now. This is the commander of Police Regional Division 6, Chief Pusad Bacchus. He used to go as Manny. He changed his name to Bacchus. I don't know why. Right? PPP, supporter, activist, whatever. He posing with photograph. And yet there's nothing wrong with that, you know. ENC as a police commander in uniform. You shouldn't be posing with anybody, whether it's PPP, APNU, AFC, WIN. You should not in uniform be posing with anybody wearing party uniform. It gives the wrong impression. It gives the wrong impression. It conveys the impression that you are not impartial. And you don't want that. But it's them people, they say they put in command position. That is the problem you have. And then when people disrespect them, they say all manner of things. When people disrespect them, now, how can you, as a police commander in uniform, fully dressed in uniform, might very well have been on duty someplace, and he take them there, and I'm there on social media. PPP flag in the background, and he there. Well, you gotta work. So I suspect that you have to be on duty. I have been on duty in uniform at many rallies, whether it's PPP rally, whether it's, I have been on duty in uniform, but nobody ain't coming, whether you're AFC, whether you're PNC, whether you're APNU, or and pose with me. No, that ain't happening. But these people just don't care, and they don't see anything wrong with that. And then people like Nandalal and them gonna come and justify it. People like the extended squatter, they're gonna justify that. But I say again, that cannot be justified. The imagery is wrong. It is wrong for a police commander to be posing, any police in uniform. And I understand more than that. I understand police, let me put this back up. I understand police in KK uniform. Now, in order to get our KK uniform, I'm here talking about TSU, it means that from inspector up. They are sharing out PPP propaganda flyer. They're in uniform and sharing out PPP propaganda flyer in uniform. That is what is going on. And the one constable, remember the constable at Region 1, who shook the hands of Azudin Mohammed, an act of civility and respect. He got transferred immediately. He was transferred immediately, transferred from Region 1 to Region 6, from one end of the country to the next end. The same Region 6 that this one in charge of. And they haven't seen nothing wrong with them thing there. Let me bring in Mr. Conway, man. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. CC, let me hear you on this one, man.
Yeah. Yeah, particularly the one dealing with the Region 6 Commando. And there is a total in order number 12 that deals with appearance and conduct. When you look at him, posing, smiling, in full-out uniform, and what is it, a PPP meeting, and even prior to the meeting, his ranks them in uniform were sharing out flyers to people. Look at him. But nothing is going wrong with him. But a constable who shook the hand of Mohammed ended up at Molson Creek. Well, he not too far at Molson Creek, so I know far he go. But total disgrace and a total breach of the police standing order number 12, which talks about appearance and conduct.
Yes, my brother. Yes. Let me move on. I know this thing is very upsetting, you know. When I saw this picture with Mustafa posing with these black children, somebody said Barakar or somebody there, very upsetting, very troubling. Very, very upsetting. Right? And then we see the commander too, posing with somebody wearing party uniform and all this stuff. They're talking about respect. How are you going to respect the police? When you see this type of partisan arrangement, how are you going to respect them? But I don't expect anything better from Bacchus, because Bacchus is one of the commanders who have been put into position. He should be some inspector, if so much. No experience, and yet learning. He is pitchforked into a position. He's not qualified for by means of, and I'm talking about academic and other qualifications. Not qualified. He, like others, are put into this position and they're not learning. If you had common sense would have told you that you can't be doing that. You can't. At least if you're a strong PPP supporter, you would want to give the impression that you are impartial. And you're going to say, no. I mean, if you stand up and somebody come and take a photograph and you in the background or you in close proximity to the person, different thing. But not posing with somebody to take a picture. And if somebody were to pose, let me say some police who might be inclined to support the coalition or any one of the other parties, pose with any one of those persons, it's transfer and dismissal and all those type of things. Transfer and dismissal. Well, let me move on before I want to bust a tube. Let me move on. They are talking here now, right, that the commissioner of police, Governor Carly's commissioner of police, extended quarter. There is a program safeguarding our nation, which I understand is aired every Tuesday. The first program, they had the chief of staff or the chief of defense staff, Omar Khan. Yes, that same Omar Khan, who complained, made a police report that a member of parliament made a statement and he felt emotionally disturbed. So he filed a criminal complaint against that person. Criminal complaint. And I said, now that Maduro rattling his saber, he must be shitting black tanks. Because if what I consider an innoxious statement by a member of parliament cause you to be emotionally disturbed, that's the man who in charge of the army. Imagine when Maduro rattling his saber, he must be shitting all the time. Pampers and toilet paper must be so loud. That is what we have. Right? Now, so I think it was the second iteration of this program, Safeguarding Our Nation. Ikin was the man to speak. And the 2nd of July, Chronicle, I take it from Chronicle, because what Chronicle say about this thing. I'm going to read it to you and then you're going to dissect it. Right? It says, among achievements, significant reduction in crime, improved services. Among achievements recorded by the Ghana Police Force, Commissioner Ikin says. So he's saying that among the achievements recorded by the Ghana Police Force was significant reduction in crime and improved services. I'm telling you, when you hear Ikin talk about numbers, he has a problem with numbers. All right, let me read what he thinks. He said, crime is down. Services are improving. And according to the Commissioner of Police, Clifton Aiken, the Guyana Police Force is working to build a safer Guyana together with civilians. During his appearance on this week's edition of Safeguarding Our Nation, Aiken spoke about the enhancements and ongoing development in the police force and by extension the security sector. From 2020 to 2025, according to the Commissioner, serious crime reports have declined by 88%. Listen, let me read about from 2020 to 2025. In other words, what he's saying, since this government coming to power, that is what he's saying. Not sugarcoat it. He's saying that since the PPP returned to power in 2020, to date, serious crime reports have declined by 88%. Robbery with guns also went down by 88%. Meanwhile, burglaries and murders have declined by 63%. Commissioner Aiken further noted that every day the force is aiming to be more transparent whilst building a better partnership with the people. The discussion that crime is down, people are not feeling it. Were acknowledged. Let me go back that. He said the discussion that crime is done, but people, that's how they write it, so I don't blame me. Let me read exactly what is written in Chronicle. The discussions that crime is done, but people are not feeling it, were acknowledged by the commissioner. That is how they structure that sentence. In response to, he said, quote, the public is not feeling it because they are not engaging the police within the regions, end of quote. He noted that even at the highest level, there are open doors. Look, I got to take my time and read this thing, because this is what it says. So I am not misquoted. They say, he noted that even at the highest levels, there are open door policies and urged citizens to stay in touch with the police. In a bid to modernize policing and reduce conflict, the force has introduced stun guns and expanded the use of body cameras, especially for traffic officers, Aiken said. Traffic stops will now be safer and more transparent, he said. The commissioner also made it clear that if an officer is not wearing a body camera, they should not be stopping vehicles. Let me read that back. For emphasis, the commissioner also made it clear that if an officer is not wearing a body camera, they should not be stopping vehicles. Commissioner Aiken emphasized that police accountability is a top priority and urged citizens to raise concerns through multiple channels, including the Police Complaints Authority, or directly with senior officers, including himself. Quote, no police officer is above the law, Aiken said. Then they go on to say, the Salawala President, Dr. Irfan Ali, has said Guyana made significant strides in boosting public safety, and this must be credited to the strategic investment being made to improve the country's law enforcement. The head of state had further highlighted the concerted efforts of law enforcement agencies and the government's investment in technology and personnel. The president praised the commitment of the country's police force, emphasizing their proactive approach to maintaining law and order. Quote, that tells you that our men and women in uniform are proactively working, end of quote. Dr. Ali said, affirming the dedication of law enforcement officers who are working tirelessly to ensure public safety. The Guyana Police Force had previously faced, listen to this, I'm going to analyze it. The Guyana Police Force had previously faced numerous challenges, and overall, the security sector was on shaky foundation from 2015 to 2020. However, the current government has taken a hands-on approach to enhancing the security sector. Pointing to key components of this initiative, President Ali highlighted how the Guyana Police Force welfare infrastructure has improved. Notably, the modernization efforts have been I've seen the establishment of a community relations department to strengthen police community relations, promote safe communities, and enhance preventative policing strategies through positive engagement and public trust. Then they go on to say, in May of this year, the President Alice warned the force that there will be no excuses for officers not to wear body cameras during their duties, as 5,000 body cameras were handed over to boost transparency and law enforcement reform. Further, he previously urged the forward-thinking and balanced approach, a forward-thinking and balanced approach to policing in Guyana. A mouthful there. A mouthful. But I want to play this video before I bring in Mr. Conway. So it relates to what we just said, where the commissioner is saying that he said the commissioner also made it clear that if an officer is not wearing a body camera, they should not be stopping vehicles. That is what is reported to have said. Let me play a video, a brief video, when he made similar statements, or this is an excerpt, I suspect, from that. I pull it out from, listen carefully, it's very short, listen carefully. Listen to what the commissioner is saying.
The body camera gives transparency between the police and the public whenever they speak. And so, my instructions are very clear. Persons must not stop if the rank does not have a body camera. If there is a roadblock supervised by officers and the rest of it, well, we expect everybody to stop to comply. But one police or two policemen, traffic, of course, without body camera, they're not supposed to be stopping anybody. Their duty is to control the speed to ensure that we have less fatality. And so, yes, they're benefiting from it, but it's going to impact on them within the near future.
That was a 42-second video. And I can't imagine one man can talk so much stupidness in 42 seconds. 42 seconds video. The amount of nonsense he talked there, if we are to analyze, you're going to take the remainder of the program. But I'm bringing Mr. Conway to have his say, and then I'm going to come back to talk about that same, the article from Chronicle on the 2nd of April, and that short video there. CC, I know you have a lot to say, man. Go ahead. Let me cool down in the meanwhile.
All right, you cool down, because I have a lot to say, And I listened to the comparison 2020 to 2025. They sound like political figures. They sound like a political 2020 to 2025. Normally, the police will give you a yearly thing this year compared with last year. And for me, the submission of crime stats by the police to indicate that there is a decrease in serious crime is meaningless, is senseless, when the public perception is that crime is high and persons are living in perpetual fear of crime. The stats does not tell the full story. And this quarter get the proclivity of not responding to well-funded criticism, or even when he responds, he lies, cover up, manufacture evidence, and leave a lot of confusion. Here was what he said last year. At the award ceremony, he said that the other crime decreased by 18%. Now he quoting some fantastic figures between 2020 and 2025, 83% decrease and 90-something percent decrease. But I come to that. Last year at the award ceremony, he said crime was down by 18%. And his Minister of Home Affairs, the same one who don't be properly dressed, who I expect to be properly dressed tomorrow to take the salute. Hero Benza. I think that it is almost 3 or 4 years running that we reduce it by 20% each year, and we have been able to get good results. But the AG put the icing on the cake, where he said the government is not comfortable with the level of crime and violence in our society, and that is no secret. We have repeatedly accepted the fact that we are assiduously working to address the situation. That was the Attorney General in one of his his presentation issues in the news. He can saying, yes, we got by 18% this last year. Ben said, yes, every 2 years we're reducing. And now he's saying that the government not comfortable with the level of crime and violence in the society, and that is no secret. And we have repeatedly accepted the fact that we are assiduously working to address the situation. But when you look at the crime, when you look at the crime, the stats that they're examining, Paul, and I'm going to jump ahead, it's stats figures that over 30 years ago, Larry Lewis had introduced. What you get them here? Thank you. Murder, rape, burglary, kidnapping, break and enter and larceny, robbery, robbery under arms where guns are used, robbery under arms where other instruments are used, robbery with aggression, robbery with violence, larceny from the person. Those are the stats that they are using. Armed robbery get 5 categories. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 categories. And that's what they're analyzing and saying that crime is done. But in terms of serious crimes, manslaughter is not a serious crime. Drug trafficking, remember we had 4 point something tons of cocaine at Matthews Ridge. White collar crime, not embezzlement, money laundering, them is not serious crime. Possession and cultivation and trafficking in marijuana, not no serious crime. Trafficking in cocaine, not no serious crime. Unlawful possession of arms and ammunition, not serious crime. Trafficking in person, not no serious crime. Felonious wounding, not no serious crime. Offenses under the Domestic Violence Act, apart from rape, is not no serious crime. Arson, not no serious crime. Simple larceny, carrots and everything, not no serious crime. Cattle rustling, not no serious crime. Smuggling of drugs and gold, not no serious crime. Discharging loaded firearms with intent, not no serious crime. So all they're doing, they find 11 crimes and they say them is a serious crime. They got to get a total picture. They got to get a total picture. And what are they doing? They're just tabulating figures. The figures does not measure the activity, whether the activities were conducted efficiently and effectively, and they're not sure what they had impact on the society. I have a book, Management and Supervision in Law Enforcement by Wayne Bennett and Karen Hess. And here what they say: low crime rate does not necessarily mean that the police are doing an efficient and effective job. High arrest rate does not necessarily show that the police are doing a good job. High rate of police officers to citizens does not necessarily mean that they high quality police service. Responding quickly to calls for service does not necessarily indicate that the agency is effective. If you want to know whether the police is effective, just give me a while. You need to go to the police mandate. Look at your mandate, what you are required to do as laid down by law, your constitutional role. That's where I look at if you want to know whether you're efficient and effective or whether you're doing the job that you ought to do. And according to the Police Act, Chapter 16:01, Section 3 said, designation and objects of the force. There shall be established a Guyana police force to be known as the Guyana Police Force. Here they're trying to change it to service. I'm in this act. But here, this is the police role. This is the constitutional role that you must analyze if you want to know how well you're doing. Not pull up some stats from way back when. The police shall be employed for the prevention and detection of crime, the preservation of law and order, the preservation of the peace, the repression of internal disturbance, the protection of property, the apprehension of offenders, and due enforcement of all laws and regulations to which it is directly charged, and shall perform military duties in Guyana as may be required by it under the authority. This is the authority. If you want to do proper analysis, know how well you're doing, look at section 3.2. And this is going to tell you, don't bring figures and give me. Look at what you're required to do. And also, this is what you're required to do. Not organizing dog curry competition. Not organizing cook-up competition. Not organizing flavor the dance competition. Not bowling ball for the president to score runs. And not holding some poolside get together at the police training environment there, and where all the divisions mandatory that they got to attend, and if they don't attend, they're in trouble. Look at what is laid down, what is in the Constitution, what is in the Police Act, what you are required to do. And if you want to know how well you're doing, go out to the public, do citizens survey. Do citizens survey. You have a whole lot of persons, you say, get master's degree, where you get people get doctorate and all kind of thing. Use them and do citizen survey. Go to the people who you are paid to serve, who you swear to serve and protect. And the people expect to live in a safe and orderly society. They expect the police to be fair, to be impartial, to be apolitical, to respond to criticism, to be fair-minded, and all those things. That is what the public expect you to do. And if you want to know what you're doing, go to the citizens, go to a survey, get your people to do survey. Don't pull in the one from Region 6 that understand, get a degree from the University of Palmyra. Find people with proper degree. And if you do citizen survey, you will be able to know whether people approve or disapprove the performance of the police. It will be able to measure trends. It will be able to provide negative and positive feedback. It may be key for establishing proper communication with the public. It may help you set organizational goals and priorities. It might identify weaknesses and strengths in areas of improvement for training. And according to Sir Robert Peel, is considered the father of modern day policing. And here we say, the test of police effectiveness is the absence of crime and disorder, not visible evidence of police activity to deal with those problems. The absence of crime, this is the thing. And do the survey. Go to the public. Don't give me stats. And they're doing the stats. They're cocking the stats. They're saying, don't put it on this one. This one gonna make we look bad. They're ghosting. And also, they're not concentrating in what you call the dark figures in crime. There are a whole lot of crimes that are not reported, are committed but not reported, because people feel it's a waste of time. I'm going to report to the police. If I report to the police, they won't do anything. They won't solve anything. Just like how they said they can't solve Adriana murder. So a lot of crime is being committed. You get the dark figures where persons do not report crimes because they feel that the police won't do anything or police cannot solve the crime. And the citizens are living in fear. They're living in fear, and not only the crime, the fear of crime. And it's the fear of crime they got to address. So the nonsense was the stupidness, the nonsensical nonsense, what he can come and put out, say crime is an increase compared 2020 to 2025. What nonsense is that? That is a political statement he's making. Why they don't go back to the monthly stats? Why they don't go down, okay, if you want the money, do a yearly comparison and let us know, but you have to get proper figures and don't cut the figures. Don't go in. May they say, hey, don't put in this one nearby. This one go make will look bad and all kind of. And sometimes you don't go percentage, you will numbers, because You might get 2 crimes, two more the last year, and this year you get 1. So you say you're down by 100%, and them kind of thing. They got to be careful in terms of how they're using the figures. And I'm not surprised, because if you can say Guyana is 83 square miles, and if you say the population is 750, well then you know, he get problem with the zeros. Perhaps he like a certain man who was chairman at, I think, Region 3, Region 2, where he said not and get value. Well, maybe the same thing with the conference quarter, not and get value. But what he put in there is senseless. It doesn't make any sense, and it's total craziness that he put in. Perhaps he was ordered, he was instructed to come up with something.
All right. CC had a mouthful. My turn to bat. Now, first of all, CC alluded to this function again. You know, it ain't easy. I know the ranks are so demoralized. And this is the way how they manage. You see that statement he made about ranks must not stop vehicle. I'm going to analyze it a little more. They have an activity where you put aside some of it. Let me understand how the force is being run. Let me understand how demoralized it is. The force has a poolside summer fair on the 6th, Sunday, the 6th of July. They got a pool in the training school compound. So they have a poolside summer fair. And here, what is the instruction? Or what are the instructions in respect to that? Please inform commanders and all other ranks that they are required to attend the poolside summer fair at the Guyana Police Force Academy Georgetown campus on Sunday, the 6th of July, 2025. Attendance is mandatory. There must be no failure. Time, 14 hours to midnight. So ranks are bullied to go to this poolside fair. And here, let me tell you all this. Not going to go because they're afraid. Many will not go, and they are going to be victimized, but they really don't care. They are going to be victimized. Many of the people who are going there will walk with their own drinks. That has been a trend in recent times. They don't trust the people them. So they walk with their own drinks and their own cup and everything. That is what is going on. They not eat nobody food and all them things. People are morbidly afraid because of the rat race that is going on there. Several senior ones, they ain't drinking nothing, they ain't eating nothing. So what is the purpose of this activity? Maybe it's a fundraising for make a donation to the PPP. Maybe it's a fundraising to make a donation to the People's Progressive Party by the police force. Because I am sure they are going to come here and making a donation. That is how the force works. Now, that is what is going on. But coming back to the crime, coming back to Italy, crime down by 88% in the past couple of years. It was only on May the 12th, 2025, this year, that the United States issued a travel advisory for traveling to Guyana. What it says, reconsider, and let me tell you level. It's a level 3 travel advisory. There are 4 levels they have. 1, the lowest is 1, say you must just exercise normal control. 2, exercise increased caution. Number 3, reconsider travel. And number 4, they said do not travel. In May of this year, May 12th to be exact, they issue a level 3 travel advisory to tell U.S. citizens to reconsider travel to Guyana. What it says, reconsider travel to Guyana due to crime. This is not slow. This is not Conway. This is not no anti-government or anti-police statement. This is United States. I guess it's the embassy in Guyana issuing this. They said reconsider travel, a level 3 advisory. Reconsider travel to Guyana due to crime. It goes on to say, country summary, violent crime, including murder and armed robbery, is common, especially at night. Local police often lack the resources to respond effectively to serious crime, to serious criminal incidents. Then they went on to say, If you decide to travel to Guyana, be extra vigilant when visiting banks or ATMs. Be aware of your surroundings. Avoid walking or driving at night. Do not physically resist any robbery attempt. Do not display signs of wealth, such as wearing expensive watches or jewelry. There is prepare a contingency plan for emergency situations. This is the advisory issued by the U.S. We highly recommend that you buy insurance before you travel. Check out your travel insurance provider about evacuation assistance, medical insurance, and trip cancellation coverage. This is a place where they tell you crime is down, you know. The U.S. issued in May of this year that advisory to tell people that you should reconsider traveling to Guyana. And they state the reasons why you must reconsider. They say violent crime, due to violent crime, including murder, armed robbery, is common, especially at night. Local police often lack the resources to respond effectively to serious criminal incidents. That is the United States less than 2 months ago. And then it can Tuesday night coming to tell people a bundle, a scandal, a bunt. He come to tell people. That is what. And let me go through the statement where he talk. He said crime is down. Services are improving, according to Police Commissioner Ikin. And the Guyana Police Force is working to build a safer Guyana together with civilians. Who are the civilians? The sheriff people? Them are the people you're working to build a safer Guyana? Because they're up on the road marauding and doing that sort of thing. Is them? That militia? Then it goes on to say 2020 to 25 according to Ikin, serious crime reports have declined by 88%. That is what Ikin is saying. I can tell you, right? And any right-thinking person will tell you that in the past, let me say, put it up past 10, 15 years, during the coalition rule, and I'm not stamping here for the coalition, I'm telling you facts. Facts. During the rule of the coalition, people breathe a sigh of relief. That crime, the law enforcement authorities had to control crime during apnea rain. Any honest body can tell you that. Right? When Granger was there, all the police excesses and so on started to come down. They used to breathe a sigh of relief. But since this will come back, in the same 2020, what they talk about, if you want to talk about the period, why not talk about the period when Jack Dio was president, when it was mayhem in the country? Every night, dozens and dozens of people being killed and bodies found all over the place. Policemen on duty being killed. I will always remember that policeman walking at Regent and King Street. He was gunned down during Jack Dio reign as president. So if you want to talk about a period, talk about that period. Why you're not talking about that period? You talk about 2020 to 2025. I am saying, without any fear of contradiction, if we look at the last 10 years, you talk about, let me say from 2020, as you want to talk about 2020 to now. Let me go back, because they talk about 2015 here too. Let me go back. The safest period was during the coalition reign from 2015 to 2020. There ain't no argument about that. Piracy and all of those things declined. Now you don't even hear about it because the systems were put in place then. Crime was done. It was clear. Fatal accidents and all of those things were done. And then it can come to tell you this nonsense. But during the period 2020 to the Fire County Commission, serious crime reports have declined by 88%. Well, you get a problem with numbers. We know that. We know that he has a problem with numbers because if he know that what is the size of Guyana, if you know the size of Guyana, what do you expect? Let me show you all these things. You know, we don't want to talk and you believe that we misquoting them. Let me see. We don't want to believe that you're misquoting them. Is this?
Hey, y'all, come look at this.
My country, Guyana, 86,000 square miles.
That Guyana covers 83 square miles of land mass.
83 square miles. So what you expect? He come now and tell you that crime down and all this other thing and give him percentage and so on. You can't. looking for next step, you got to take it with a pinch of salt, right? A pinch of salt. Because the man got a problem with numbers. He did say Guyana has a population of 750 people. I heard that myself. In the first month or so, when he became commissioner, there was a presentation to people in the diaspora, organized by, I think, Robert Prasad. And I made that thing there some way. So numbers is the problem. The only number you ain't got problem with is 8.5 million. He counted good. He said that when Amir Ahmad gave him $8.5 million in an envelope, he counted it. And that was the money for Buta's wedding. He said so. And they claim too that, the evidence is there. They claim too that the $60 million the charge Butas last knee for, the money was handed over to Butas in the presence of Ikin in Ikin's office. So he must have counted that too. Maybe he counted that too. So he come to tell us what crime is done and all that crap. Right? And again, so political, tell about 2020 to 2025. 2020 to 2025. Any person, any casual observer, the empirical evidence suggests otherwise. Otherwise. Every day we come around the place, robbery. And again, walk around the town. Look at those stores, the Chinese stores, all of those stores. Men with assault rifle. Men with assault rifle guarding them. Now you want to tell me that this place is such a safe place, yet still you have to have private security with assault rifles guarding ordinary supermarket, and you telling me that crime is done? You are telling me crime is done and all that is happening? People are very fearful to walk around the place because any casual observer, when you go into a country and you see that level of armament and armory, you get the impression right away, and rightly so, that things bad. Or why else would people invest in that type of arrangement? Why else? Everybody, every day, some gun firing and all this everything. People shooting. Well, it's not police shooting, it's people shooting. Look, only a couple of days ago in Agriculture, a man found dead with gunshot wounds. A couple of weeks before that, the next man dead. A man running down the road with the AK-40, with the AR-15, busting shot at the building. And you telling me about safe community? And let me go on to say, further noted, the force is aiming to be more transparent. Imagine this, man. Ask Ikin if he knows the meaning of transparency or transparent, the word transparent. The police force in this day, the government of Guyana as well, has been the least transparent as far as I know. Least transparent. Their own Alex Vaughn, shot and killed how many days ago? Today is 470-something days, right? Alex Vaughn, shot and killed 476 days ago. The own police sergeant, they're talking about transparency. You ain't hear nothing? You ain't nothing. How transparent were they in the investigation of Adriana Young murder? What is the position with this boy, Fortuné, who was shot and killed at Linden by the police? You're talking about transparency. So why have you not faced the media to give an update? Why have you not given a release to update on all of these incidents? You got a killing at Maikoni, where the two police shot and killed those two men. Two of them shoot. And since you have this fantastic ballistic ability, you have to have determined whether both of them kill or whether one kill. You're not hearing nothing more about that. You're not hearing anything more about that. Man dead in you talk again, and this is transparency. Man dead in perfect harmony lockups. You're so transparent. Why have you not indicated what exactly happened there? And there's so many other incidents. The same, you talk about transparency, the same perfect harmony area there, we reported it. Police vehicle chasing a car. The car that was being chased struck and killed a civilian who was standing there. They haven't given a release. You hear nothing about it. And they're the ones who telling us about transparency. The least transparent organization in the country is the Guyana Police Force. Currently exists. You're so transparent. Why have you not been facing the media? You face the media with the Orange Boscom, Boston, right? Dion Boston matter. Something when you try to debunk you and your crime chief. And then it backfires spectacularly. And then you get shy, you're ducking and running from the camera. You have not faced. Now you got the DPI, the propaganda arm of the PVP, or one of the propaganda arms of the PVP, and you come in telling people a lot of crap. And then you say, but he's self-admitting. They are so bloody stupid. He said about this thing done. Then he can tell you in the same breath, oh, the public is not feeling it because they are not engaging the police within the region. The public and feeling the decrease in crime. That is what he's saying, The public and feeling the decrease in crime. Why? Because they are not engaging the police within the region. So if you engage the police within the region, you can feel a decrease in crime. That is what this thing is. Tell me that is not jackassery. That's me word, jackassery. The man just tell you crime down and all sort of thing, he blowing the trumpet. And then in the same breath, he tell you the public is not feeling it because they are not engaging the police within the region. That is a quotation. Then he goes on, in a bid to modernize policing and reduce conflict, the force has introduced stun guns and expanded the use of body cameras, especially for traffic officers, it can say. Traffic stop will now be safer and more transparent. Here they go again with this word transparent, right? He said. The commissioner also made it clear that if an officer is not wearing a body camera, do you understand this what he said? If the officer is not wearing a body camera, they should not be stopping vehicles. So members of the public, hear what the commissioner of police is saying. That if a police is not wearing a body camera, they shouldn't stop vehicle. Tell me if that is not stupid. And the ranks who are listening, let me tell you, that is not a lawful order. That cannot be a lawful order. The Police Act 1601 gives you the power to stop, search, and detain under certain circumstances. No commissioner of police can take that power away from you. You have the power to stop, search, and detain under certain circumstances. And the commissioner does not have the authority. Even the government, the president, the prime minister, the vice president, none of them can take that away from you just like that. They have to dismiss you. If you are dismissed, then you no longer have that power. You understand? So let me tell you all. Because once you hold that thing and you swear and you become a policeman, you have that power. And again, it's nonsenseness. There's the next word, Leon. Nonsenseness. Apart from jackassery, this is nonsenseness. Because what it is they're trying to stop. And this is not now. Since Silal Prasad was Commissioner of Police and Clement Roy was Minister of Home Affairs, they issue statement, similar statement, or police wants to stop people, ask documents, and all this everything. That's what they say. Those orders cannot be lawful. Cannot. Police got a power to stop, search, and detain. And if they abuse it, then they need to be disciplined. That is the thing. If they have the powers, they get the power to stop, search, and detain all policemen. And if they abuse that power, if they use it unlawfully, then you have to take action against them. The police can, or the commissioner, or no one can seek to take away your power to stop. So you telling me a policeman go up on the road and put up his hand to stop a vehicle, if he ain't wearing a body camera, the man should not stop. They're encouraging lawlessness. They are encouraging lawlessness. And it's all because they can't think things through properly. Policemen, let me emphasize that, they have the powers to stop, search, and detain. If the policemen and women are abusing the power, they're not using it in a lawful manner, then take disciplinary action against them. Don't tell them they can't exercise the power that they swore and they're empowered with. Don't tell them that. So you're telling the police that if they're telling, and more than that, they're making it public now that if you can imagine a minibus man, well, not all of them, because you have some very orderly and lawful. But some of them vagabond minibus men now, that tell the police, fail to stop. And if you're talking about wearing a body camera, we talk about this thing before, and the SOP to deal with a body camera. Wearing a body camera does not mean that the body camera is on and recording. So just wearing them there, if you turn them off, man, look, it's jackassery, Leon. It's foolishness to the highest degree to be making such statements. But we don't expect better from Ikin, the commissioner. I don't expect better from him. When he makes this statement, that is what I expect of such a person who they put there as commissioner of police. That is what I expect from a person like that. But I'm saying again, and I know the intimidation, and I know ranks are threatened and ranks are bullied, people freaking transfer and so on. But let me talk about the law. People you're going and you join the force, you take an oath to serve and protect. You have certain powers given to you under Chapter 1601, Police Act. No commissioner of police can take that away from you like that by saying that you must not exercise your power to stop, search, and detain. You have the power. You cannot take that away from you. And I'm saying to them, if it is that the ranks are not using this power in the appropriate manner, you have to discipline them. You have to discipline the ranks. If they're stopping people arbitrarily without any justification because they want to take a raise and all of that, discipline them. But how do you discipline the rank for not taking a raise when you're taking $8.5 million in your office and admitting to that in a statement that you took $8.5 million from Amir Ahmad, a businessman, an act that Jack Dio said is reprehensible, and yet still they promote you, so you come to talk a lot of nonsenseness. Yeah, that's another word too, the nonsenseness. So I am saying that this is all foolishness, and I would hope that the ranks, I don't encourage indiscipline. People who work with me and know me know that discipline was the hallmark of my management. But fairness too. Fairness too. So if you can tell people, don't stop because you're telling, now in the policemen, when you should be dealing with the policemen who may be exercising the power unlawfully. No, you aren't dealing with that. You're telling now the public, you're empowering the public to disrespect and to do stupidness on the road. More. That is what you're doing. You are empowering the public. So a man driving down there now and a policeman call, yes, stop. They say, well, me didn't see your turn body camera. Even when he get on body camera, I ain't see with body camera. So I ain't stopping when he come to stop me. That is what you're encouraging. And I hope that Brobson Ben, who's up on the last leg, and Anil Nandalal, SC, MP, Attorney General, will call this chap and tell you, hey, you're talking stupidness. Because it's exactly what he's talking, nonsenseness. Let me go on with some of the other things he said. He said, hey, what Ikin says here in this thing. And I'm quoting again from Chronicle of the 2nd of July. Quote, no police officer is above the law. There is Ikin say, no police officer is above the law. So why they don't charge you for misconduct in public office if you went above the law? For taking that $8.5 million, admitting in a statement that you took $8.5 million, why is it you have not been charged with misconduct in public office if you are not above the law? Why? Tell me why. Why? Why this one who is alleged to have sexually assaulted the journalist and raped a policewoman, why is he not charged too criminally? They are above the law. That's why they don't get charged, because they are above the law. Animal farm, we're talking about. Then he goes on to say, well, let me tell you the president. They go on and say the president praised the commitment. He said they're investing in technology and personnel. President seems to feel that technology can solve the problem. And let me tell you again, free advice. I never see technology go in a road or go in a place and arrest a person. So even with the best of technology, you have to get trained and disciplined ranks to execute. Even with the best of technology. You get technology, West Demerara. And it's a technology you claim said that you saw Adriana Young going in a red and black Ram motor vehicle. And then they say, oh, it's the wrong date they put in and it's technology. is technology. I maintain, while technology is good, you have to have a proper force to implement it, which you don't have at this stage, which you don't have. Because you can see all kind of things. But if you have corrupt policemen, if you have incompetent policemen at all levels, the technology ain't going to help you out. It is not going to help you out. Then he go on to say, he said, quote, the president said, that tells you that our men and women in uniform are proactively working. Perhaps he know the word, meaning the word proactively as well. He affirming the dedication of law enforcement officers who are working tirelessly to ensure public safety. Yes, they have some who are working tirelessly to ensure public safety. But unfortunately, you have too many of them who are doing quite the opposite. Too many of them who are doing quite the opposite. I saw a video today, I got to show you, where Aussie Rogers from Germany abusing Simona Brooms. Only saw it today, a few days ago, over this incident across the river. And the women and this man had some heated discussion. He sat on a table or something. A police in khaki clothes sat right there. A police in khaki clothes was sitting there. And Simona Brew was pointing out, this man assaulted me, this man attacking me. And I said, the policeman sat there in khaki clothes, so he got to be an inspector above. He hadn't moved a muscle. He sat down right there. I saw the thing and I shake my head. This was social media. I shook my head. So what are you talking about? Get all the technology you want. Y'all talk about the technology on the concussion highway. It started out bright and up in a couple months ago. How much tickets you're issuing and that for top speeding. What has happened to that? This transparent force, what has happened to that? We ain't hearing anything more. Hot and sweaty. We are not hearing anything further about that. Then the president goes on to say, in May this year, President warned the force that there will be no excuses for officers not wearing body cameras during their duties. As 5,000 body cameras were handed over to boost transparency. Here they go again with this word. Where is Mansour Nadir when you want him to ban the use of the word transparency, just as how we ban the use of the word corruption in parliament? Where is Mansour Nadir? That is what they're telling us. By now, would you, Bantu, by now, they ought to have given us some analysis to say how many tickets were issued, how many tickets have been paid, what is the monetary value of the tickets that have been, all that they should have told us by now. All hot and sweaty they run out is just salawala, enough talk and nothing more. And as I told you all before, now this is election year, they're going to talk more. They're going to come and talk more. Come to Speaking Out, and we're going to dissect and we're going to analyze. Come to Speaking Out. Let me bring in Mr. Conway. We might come back on the same issue, but for now, let me hear CC got to say on this one, and we got some other issues to deal with. Share the live. We ain't done. This is no done as you like. Share the live. They come and they talk a lot of nonsenseness, and they expect people to push it. All of it. Jack just said they got a lot of stupid people in Ghana, and I believe him. That's a true statement. He is in charge of that group. So I know. But we are not part of that group. Your teachers and the students here are not a part of that group. Let me bring in CC. CC, let me hear you anything more on this one.
Yeah. Let me just go back to the pool and then come back to the technology. Now that pool that they're supposed to hold that big party on Sunday. You know, the first thing they did, they go against the low carbon development strategy. All those historical trees that they had there, they cut down all of them and they put your concrete in the place. They build a pool and the pool only get 3 lanes. You don't get no warm-up facilities and you're not working. And not only that, financial irregularity, we can understand they use the welfare fund and they use the money from the credit union to build the pool with the intention that government is going to pay for it. And I hear when they submit the account, the people say, no, 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 we didn't approve that, we didn't know about it. As a result, people who supposed to get paid for the work ain't get no pay. They ain't get no pay. But coming back, Paul, to the instructions that he gave, I always like to read the law. Section 18 talk about powers to stop, search, and detain aircraft, vehicles, vessels. Here it says, any member of the force may stop, search, and detain any aircraft, vessel, or vehicle in upon which there shall be reasonable reason to suspect that anything stolen or unlawfully obtained, or that any person suspected of having committed any indelible offense may be found, and he may also stop, search, and detain any person who may be reasonably suspected of having committed, having, or conveyed in any manner anything stolen or unlawfully obtained. The law here covers the police to stop, search, and detain any vehicle, aircraft, etc., or any person who may be reasonably suspected of having or conveying in any manner anything stolen or reasonably or unlawfully obtained. This thing is about a reasonable suspicion. So you're telling me if I'm a policeman and I get my reasonable suspicion, but I don't have on my body camera, I can't stop no vehicle, I can't stop no person. When the law covers me, I can't do that. What he can has got to do is that if person not wearing their body camera, you need to deal with them. There must be system in place. And as Paul indicated, they should have a proper SOP dealing with it. A proper SOP. So you can't go and stop people from doing that because they cause more confusion. It's going to be more confrontation with the public and the policeman. Say, you don't get no body camera, you can't talk to me. The commissioner says so. You can't stop me and I get along my way. And there's where the story would start. And even the president talking about technology, where he said the cameras, safe city will replace boots on the ground. You get all the technology in the world, but is the people gotta make it work? The United States had all the technology in the world, and they brought down the Twin Tower. They brought down the Twin Tower with all the technology that they got. And they said the police get all the technology, and yet still the technology say, according to them, that they saw Adriano boarding a vehicle. They give the vehicle number, they give the vehicle the color, and they give the name of the owner. There is it, the technology. Yeah? And then the Attorney General, in one of his rantings, he said the police acted on a tip. They acted on a tip. And I imagine this tip come from the belly of the beast. This tip came from the police command center. So I wonder what's going on with the technology. If the command center giving you wrong information or giving you information that doesn't exist. So no the nonsense about technology and technology. The human aspect of things gotta work. The human gotta make the technology work. But here's it, going back to Aiken, giving instructions and giving unlawful instructions. And you're not bound. You're not bound to comply with any instruction that is unlawful. The law has covered you that if you have a reasonable suspicion, you can stop vehicle, aircraft, etc., or anybody who you get the reason cause to suspect conveying things stolen or unlawfully obtained.
myself, I'm talking to myself all the time. Sorry, I got a call and I muted the mic and I forget again to take it off. So y'all, sorry, my apologies. I am saying that, and I said a lot. I said what the statement by the commissioner is bare foolishness. Bare foolishness. The law empowers the police to search, touch, and detain under certain circumstances. And if they're not complying with the law, then you have to deal with them. You can't seek to take away the power because you don't have that authority. You don't have the authority. The law says what I must do. And I made the point that Roy, when he was Home Affairs Minister, and Silal Prasad, when he was Commissioner, they made statement about the same thing. It's there in the media. If you do the research, you'll find it. But what happens? There has not been any improvement because they're not dealing with the matter in the manner that it ought to be dealt with. That is, you get proper SOP, standard operating procedure. And then once they are published and the ranks fail to adhere to those procedures, you charge them under Section 4Y of the Police Discipline Act, Chapter 17:01. 4Y. Fails to comply with orders issued by the Commissioner of Police. But you have to have it properly documented and made into a proper order, which is properly circulated. But this thing where I come and telling you all sorts of craziness, you can. My apologies again for the no song. I'm back on. I'm sure if you can hear me now. But people are now saying they say they're not hearing the song. I say, my apologies. The little old lady just catch up with you now and again. A call came through from one of the students, and I muted the mic to answer the call, and I forgot to unmute the mic. Right? So again, my apologies. My apologies. Some people still say no song. Is that so? Or they're now catching up? Some people still say no song audio. Y'all let me know. I don't want to keep talking to myself. Let me bring in CC. CC, can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. I guess they're now catching up. Those are now catching up. Mr. Simpson and others saying, yeah. I told you all the reason. Now let me move on. Because time running out on us. I want to address a particular matter. This, the sanction. The last sanction was issued under Executive Order 14059. Executive Order 14059 was issued, I think, was on the 5th of last month. I think 5th of June, where Emnat Shah, Senior Superintendent, Paul David Jr., Mark Cromwell, and Randolph Duncan were sanctioned. And the executive order says they're sanctioned because they are alleged to be involved in drug smuggling. That's clear. They're smuggling drugs. I made the point that this is totally different from the previous sanction. Let me understand that. Because with the previous sanction, where the Mohammeds and May Thomas, don't ever forget that, the Mohammeds and Permanent Secretary May Thomas were sanctioned. They said because of corruption and gold smuggling, they said what it was. They said what the sanction was all about. Right? Now, with this sanction, under Executive Order 14059, the U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio on the 26th of June announced a new visa restriction policy for family members and close personal and business associates of individuals sanctioned under Executive Order 14059. Those are the 4 Guyanese and the 2 think they were Colombians. That is what it is. But people conflating and they say now thing. They're trying to scare people. They're trying to scare people. But this statement was specific to that. And we should be very concerned when they talk about safety and so on. A senior police officer who's in charge of Region 1, Emnat Shah, Senior Superintendent, is sanctioned under Executive Order 14059 for drug trafficking. Let me understand that. And I have said, with the little knowledge I have of how the system works, because they said that the trafficking drugs into the U.S. and further afield, it ain't done there. I can't see the U.S. just sanctioning them and then moving forward. Because first of all, notwithstanding what they're trying to tell you, this is an executive order. And I explained some time ago, executive orders can be made by the governor of a state, or if it's or the president himself is involved in this executive order to sanction out when it comes from OFAC or whatever, the president involvement. And I don't think, notwithstanding what they're telling people, that they're going to sanction you without getting evidence. And I can very well see indictments coming down the pipeline. You know, talking about extradition. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. They're talking all sort of things, they're trying to scare people. But let's wait and see, because I can very well see that the police officer and those who were sanctioned under Executive Order 14059, and as they're saying here, not only the people who are sanctioned, but they're saying new visa restriction for family members and close personal and business associates of individuals sanctioned under Executive Order 14059. Right? This was on June 5th. The people were sanctioned. It goes on. Executive Order 14059. 4 Guyanese nationals were sanctioned for drug trafficking. They are Senior Superintendent Imnat Paul David Jr., Mark Cromwell, a former policeman, and Randolph Duncan. The sanctions were announced on June 5th by the U.S. Department of Treasury Office of Foreign Asset Control, OFAC. Then the Secretary of State is quoted here saying, "We will use all necessary tools to deter and dismantle the flow of fentanyl and other deadly drugs from entering our country." That is what he said. So we wait to see when the indictments are going to be unsealed. And then the process will start to deal with extradition. You know, they get lobbying form now. A couple of things I got to say before we close. They get a lobbying form, they're doing that sort of thing. All of a sudden, Azuddin Mohammed, who was sanctioned under another executive order, is now a puppet of Maduro. I don't know where that come from. And they're pushing it all over the place. He's a puppet of Maduro. The only puppet of Maduro that I know of, or who can be, the only person I know who can be described, justifiably so, as a puppet, is the man who made the statement about giving Venezuela a passage. I don't know if at the time when he made the statement, even Maduro was the president, but certainly he was giving Venezuela a passage.
You could probably, on the maritime area, give Venezuela a channel out to the sea. So you make a slight concession in the maritime area. You could.
Yeah, that is there. He had denied it. He had denied it. But it's there. It's there. Cox, we had a lot of other issues. You know, the commissioner too again talk about the decentralization of services. I'll be gonna go into it on the next episode. Then the president, well, the vice president, Jagdeo, talk about they're not responsible for the actions of the police force and all that. We're gonna talk about it in great detail, perhaps on another episode. We're gonna talk about it, right? We're gonna talk. Let me give Mr. Conway for his closing, and then we're gonna move on. CC, let me hear you on your closing.
Let me restate the point, you know. So, sanctioned by the government of the United States of America for drug trafficking. And drug trafficking, Paul, is not a serious crime in Guyana. They might even get it as a crime. In Hickins' analysis, drug trafficking is not a serious crime. It didn't fall in the category. Imagine that. Anyway, I still maintaining that they need to still look at the financial irregularities in Region 1. And not only financial irregularity, drug trafficking continuing, fuel smuggling continuing, and then jump across to the mountains. Region 8. Information is, or allegations are, that they're collecting money and they're utilizing the money to go to Orangeuk, to go to Monkey Mountain, to go to Kato, to go to Para Matakai, and they ain't going anywhere. the ranks at Monkey Mountain, Orange Duke, and Palmagai, they never know what the commander look like. They never know what the 2IC look like. They never break vice with them. They never sit down and eyeball them. They have serious issues to discuss, and they're not getting the opportunity. I leave it at that, but we have many more to talk about in relation to the squatters statement and the vice president and others.
Yeah, we have a lot more to talk about. But time has caught up with us this afternoon. I'm not going to leave you without your therapy, and then we're going to come to see, give you a look forward.
Sit there and fabricate that. Unless you say who the person is, I can't comment on anonymous people.
Okay, well, let's talk about specific individuals. What is your relationship with Mr. Su Jurong?
Su? Oh, Su? My relationship? Nothing. He's a tenant in my place, yeah.
And he's a good friend of yours?
Yes, yes, he is a friend of ours.
He claims.
Yeah, they transferred up to now. You can't hear what happened to the matter. He did sue for $50 million. And as I said, I'm sure you're going to get default judgment, but that didn't mean much. We ain't hearing anything about it. You should update at one of those Thursday interactions, if you can call it that, right? Can update on one of those interactions. Folks, Monday coming, as I indicated earlier, is a public holiday in Guyana in respect of CARICOM Day, the first Monday in July, observed as CARICOM Day. I can't recall seeing the Ministry of Home Affairs putting out the publication, but I think it's a public holiday. You have a long weekend. I encourage you to be safe during the weekend. In the U.S., today is Independence Day, and I show the celebrations are going to continue through the weekend. I implore you to be safe as well. Notwithstanding the fact that Monday is a public holiday, I know people like Bale and them, and one will tell you, Bale, you got to come back. Yeah, we're going to come here on Monday at the usual time at 11 o'clock, because we have so much to tell you. We don't want the thing backlog, especially in this silly season. We have a lot to come and to tell you about. We are done with this nonsense we can talk about. And statement made by the Vice President about separation of power. He took me right back to my university days with Theo Morris, doing environments of public administration, when I learned for the first time about this concept of separation of power by Montesquieu. I think on John Locke and Montesquieu, those of us who went to the right universities will know what I'm talking about. So we're going to talk about it, about what he's talking about, separation of power, which does not exist in Guyana, right? It does not exist. And I know political science teacher, but I had to do political science as part of my degree in public management, which I passed with credit, incidentally. Let me let you all know, pass with credit. Right? Theodore Morris used to do the quotes, environment of public administration. And I'm going to tell you all some of my teachings about separation of power. Maybe you say, Montesquieu, send you for do your research with Montesquieu. And I want to tell you all before I leave, one of the things, let me put up this slide. Put it up. Put up this slide. I'm going to show it every day that we get a program. So when it comes to September 1st, we must remember this is Adriana Young, this little child that they murdered. When I put down my X, I thinking about Adriana Young and put my X for Adriana Young to get justice. That's what I'm doing. And I am going to implore all decent, right-thinking people to do likewise. This girl death must not go unpaid. Must not. Look, the thing is, this is she made the honors roll. Made the honors roll at her school. Look her here. She placed 8. She did not get to live to see it. And I understand her mother and them were there at the presentation. But when I put down me X on September 1, I put in it for Adriana Young. Right? I given this one for Adriana Young. She was not of a voting age. because she was 11 when they snuffed her life out. But she is on the ballot for me. Because in the manner in which the whole investigation was treated, I believe she deserves justice, and I'm going to do my little bit to make sure that Adriana Young gets justice. I am going to do that. Before I close, let me make the point too, that somebody said it, one of these political scientists, and I can close with that. And maybe I got to repeat it more often. Let me pull it up and I can read what the political scientist said. A political scientist said, nobody in the global political realm would direct that level of unprecedented resources, both regional and international, to one candidate unless scientific internal polling is showing flashing red lights. Resources from Washington to Port of Spain are being marshaled with haste. There has to be some quantitative internal polling that verifies to some significant extent that the possible impact of the candidate threatens one's political fortunes. Political capital is extremely valuable. You do not spend it in areas that are inconsequential. You do not spend it for fun. The Politburo has seen something that has led them to say, aim and fire. Aim and fire. Jack D on them going to tell you, Mohammed Assadin is not a threat. That's what I'm going to tell you. But they do everything. They will continue to do everything that I've been saying to get him out of the race. They aren't done yet. They aren't done. The latest was to get lobbyists from out of Washington to lobby and say that he in bed with Maduro and all of that. They ain't done. They're going to keep coming because they must have seen something which tell them they're in serious trouble. They're shitting barrels and barrels, not buckets, barrel and barrel, black tank and black tank. They're shitting. They are going to come, as a political scientist say, aim and fire. That's what they're doing, they're aiming and fire. And we're not talking literally, even though you can't take that away from them. But we're not talking aim and fire literally. It's a figure of speech, right? Let's wait and let's see. Folks, we have had a long afternoon. I thank you for your attention. I thank you. The site is up here for those of you who can contribute. We always ask you to give you something, give you a little something, and we're going to continue to research and we're going to bring information to you. Be safe this long weekend in Guyana. Again, I urge you to be safe. Guyana is a dangerous place. And in this silly season, it is likely to get even more dangerous. So be safe. I know many of you will be going to the rally on Sunday at the Square of the Revolution. Be safe. Be safe. I have to implore you to be safe. And we are going to be here again, God spare life. We're going to come again Monday, even though it's an holiday, public holiday in Guyana. We're coming again to bring you another episode of Speaking Out, Exposing Corruption and Incompetence. Until then, stay well. Bye.